Welcome back to Graphite Curve Studio. This sketch inspired me to write this script for the video, and by the end you'll know why. Thomas Edison is quoted as saying, "I have not failed, I have just found 10,000 ways it won't work." That quote came to mind almost as soon as his drawing was done. You see, one thing I believe artists, especially young artists, need to truly understand is that trying isn't failing. Failing to succeed isn't the end of it. No one just gets it right the first time. Isn't there a quote about 10,000 hours or something? How are you going to be a master if you give up in 5 minutes? Trying it once, giving up, and never trying again? That's failure. It's in the not giving up part. That's where we can truly inspire each other. As I make this video, I'm currently learning how to draw from imagination. That's something I never learned to do as a young artist. I'm using Andrew Loomis's Fun with a Pencil to learn about constructive anatomy. I hope to one day learn this skill, but that would never happen if I just gave up. They're not very good, at least from my perspective. But being able to draw from imagination would help in many ways, especially in not needing a perfect reference photo, which usually takes most of the time. So I'll keep practicing until I get it. Bruce Lee, one of the world's most famous martial artists, once said, "I fear not the man who practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who practiced one kick 10,000 times." It's in those 10,000 kicks or 10,000 whatevers. That's where learning takes place. When we were born, we didn't know our hand from our foot. We learned. We learned to walk, we learned to speak, we learned to use technology. Just because something isn't easy doesn't mean we give up early. It means we try harder. And trying is learning. When we get it wrong, it doesn't mean we failed and it's over. No, it means we try again. This time with new information that we gathered from previous experiences. This is how learning has always worked. We've made ourselves comfortable with easy wins and instant gratification that we've forgotten how to try. Everything in the world is at our fingertips, but that doesn't mean we know everything. There's still so much we don't know, and there's still so much we don't know about the things we do know. For example, I would consider myself a pretty good artist. However, this video here is a prime example of getting it wrong, of failing. Is this what I wanted? No. Does it look bad? Not really. Especially for it being completely cross-hatched, no blending. Well, if we didn't fail, what could we learn? For starters, spend more than an hour choosing a good reference. Some of my favorite drawings have come from pictures I chose or created months before starting them. By that I mean I have a folder on my office computer that I have a lot of pictures that I want to draw, either for myself or for this channel. Sometimes I'll see a photo that's been in this folder for months, only to not want to draw it anymore and move it out into another folder. If I drew everything I've seen or had the impulse to draw, we'd have a lot more failed drawings. And not because I can't draw, obviously, but because maybe the lighting is off, or very flat, or maybe because something in the photo is too distracting and would take away from the focus. Or another reason could be maybe because that person in the photo has said something to get themselves cancelled. I wanted to draw a picture of Mia Khalifa, but as I was about to choose a photo, she said something about the war in Israel that got herself in a lot of hot water, at least with the people I follow. So I didn't draw it. Another thing I learned from this drawing is, in a previous video I talked about changing media. Why sticking to one is important. See, if we look at my videos, you can see this. Brett Baker is on Bristol, and while I was working on that, I made Lauren Birch, which is okay, and Liza Kovalenko, which I didn't like. But those were in the sketchbook, which has a totally different texture when compared to Bristol. Then I made Pretty Stressed and the portrait of Haley Rain, and those came out pretty good. But then I think that Britt Baker's butt suffered for it, and on through the whole channel. Again, it doesn't mean I don't know how to draw. It means that there is time needed to refamiliarize yourself with your tool. The same thing can be said about my last few videos. Alex was on drawing paper after weeks of working with drawing paper in my sketchbook. Daniele was due to burnout and trying to work through it. Then we worked on Angela, which was on drawing paper. Alexa Bliss was just pure focus because I didn't want to mess up on Valentine's Day. And she was on Bristol. And it turned out better than I could have hoped for. And now we're here, switching back to drawing paper. This one is bad, but next week is good, because it's already done. That's because it's the second drawing in a row in my sketchbook. I've familiarized myself with the nuances and quirks of this paper. Is this process of going from Bristol to sketchbook going to stop? Probably not. Maybe once we finish this channel sketchbook, I can start a Bristol sketchbook. But until then, it's just something I'm going to have to work through. Lastly, the final thing I've learned from this drawing. It's to keep your tool sharp. And by that I literally mean keep your pencil sharp. You see, here at the end I ended up with this wide, broad strokes coming from the pencil. And cross-hatching looks best when the strokes are very tiny, with almost an imperceptible amount of space in between each stroke. Besides all the words I've spoken about not giving up when it doesn't work, as this has been a lesson I've started learning since 2020, it will work. Just keep trying. You'll get better, and so will I. So I hope this video has helped you, just as much as it's helped me. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to see more. Take care, and God bless.